Starting a business can seem like a daunting task, unless you have a partner like Shopify. They have the tools you need to start and grow your business. From designing a website to marketing to selling and beyond, Shopify can help with everything you need. There's a reason millions of companies like Mattel, Heinz, and Allbirds continue to trust and use them. With Shopify on your side, turn your big business idea into... Sign up for your $1 per month trial at shopify.com/special offer.
Hi, this is Dr. Willie Jolley, and I want to welcome you to the new and improved Willie Jolley Wealthy Ways podcast. After many years of interviewing the best and brightest thought leaders around the world on my SiriusXM show, I am excited to now have those interviews available to people around the globe on this podcast. So many people would write us and say, I love what I've been hearing about your interviews with these great people. Where can I access them? I live in this country or that country, or I don't have access to that technology. How can I get the information? Well, I'm so excited now that we are able to offer the information and the interviews free on this podcast. So we want you to sit back and enjoy this message and let me know how you like them. And then do me a favor. If you like them, send a review, write a review and post it. And if you like it, hit like on here and share it and tell everybody you know about it, and then subscribe to this podcast so you'll get the alerts when we post a new interview episode. Thank you for listening and enjoy the Willie Jolley Wealthy Ways podcast.
Named one of the outstanding 5 speakers in the world.
Inducted into the Speaker Hall of Fame.
Award-winning singer.
Best-selling author.
And now, here's Willie Jolley.
Hey, it's a great day. This is Dr. Willie Jolley, and yes, I have only just a minute, only 60 seconds in it. Forced upon me, I can't refuse it. Oh, no, I didn't seek it. I didn't choose it, but it's up to me to use it. I must suffer if I lose it, give account if I abuse it. Just a tiny little minute, but our eternities are wrapped up in it. I'm grateful for this minute, this moment, this opportunity. One more time to be on the air with you, wherever you are around the world, whether you're listening on the radio, whether you're listening on a podcast, whether you're listening on a television program, wherever you're getting this information, we have one goal: to help you to grow your thinking, grow yourself, and grow your wealth. And so we are here to help you every which way we can. And I bring the best and the brightest. So let me tell you about what today's show is going to be. It's about how to take command of your thoughts, how to take command of your actions, and how to take command of your future. It's with the president and CEO of the Dale Carnegie Institute. And he's going to tell you about how to win friends and influence people, as well as to stop worrying and to take command of your future, your finances, your family, and how to live your best life. You don't want to miss any of this. Well, for those who are joining us, I want to thank you for taking time out. And, I take a moment to give God glory at every beginning of every show, because I'm thankful for life and strength and health and friends. Now, my friends are the ones that allowed us to have this interview with this great guest. And so I'm grateful for that, but I'm thankful for God for life and strength and health, because without good health, what good is life? And without being able to have the blessings of that health, you don't enjoy the wonders of this world. So we thank God for life and strength and health, and for the opportunity to have this broadcast. So I give God glory. And then I want to thank our sponsor. Yeah, I want to thank our sponsor. We are so grateful to Truist Bank. Truist Bank, we're happy to have the support of Truist Bank. And I want to tell you that Truist is the real deal. And I am excited about their friendship, their sponsorship, their partnership. The way you think about money, it can affect your confidence and your greater well-being. Truist specifically wants you to have greater life. And they've made a commitment to our communities. They made a commitment to each of you by putting up programs that will help the community and the people in those communities to do more, be more, and achieve more. One of those programs is the Truist Money and Mindset podcast and program. You can access it on truist.com. It will tell you about principles that will help you have greater personal and professional success. So go to truist.com, look for Money and Mindset with Bright and Brian, and then go into a Truist branch somewhere near your home and introduce yourself to them and let them tell you about the great things they're doing in our communities, and you will be impressed as I have been. Truist, when you start with care, you build a different kind of bank. Truist Financial. Well, my guest, as I told you today, is a world changer. He's a world changer. He's not a normal guy. He's a world changer. Let me tell you a little bit about who he is. He's the president and CEO of Dale Carnegie Training, the most experienced training organization in the world, celebrating 110 years in service with its founding by Dale Carnegie himself. And they've had great impact over the years, training tens and 20 millions of people globally. Early in his tenure as CEO, Joe Hart had to adapt and to navigate the company through a global pandemic. During COVID-19, he had a lightning fast response to the pandemic, changing the business model and shifting to an exclusively programmed concept that was in person as well as hybrid. And he's done incredible things. And they have had dozens of franchise owners who have given training that has excelled over the last 100 years, and they're planning for the next 100 years. He appears on Newsweek, Rolling Stone. He has written for many magazines like those. He's a popular speaker, author, and his new book, Take Command, is expected to be a blockbuster. He has been named one of the top 50 ranked leadership and management program podcasts with his Take Command podcast, and he often is seen on national television. I'm honored to have him here today, the one and only Joe Hart. Joe, it's so good to have you.
Thank you, Willie. It's tremendous to be with you, and thank you for that warm introduction.
Well, I am so grateful. We've been wanting to do this, been planning on doing this, and I'm so glad we're able to get this interview. I want to give a shout out to our common friends, two common friends, Sharon Fanto from Cox Media, a Cox company, and she's the one who originally said, Willie, you got to know this guy named Joe Hart. And we had a quick conversation, and I want to bring up one of the points in that conversation shortly. And then the other is my dear friend and Joe's dear friend, Alan Mullally, former retired CEO of Ford Motors, who's been a guest on this show and on the podcast. Well, Joe, I've given him some of the stuff about you. Tell us a little more about where you come from and what you've been able to do and how you've been able to do all the great things that you've accomplished as president and before then.
Well, thank you, Willie. And again, it's a pleasure to be with you today. You know, it's interesting how life kind of goes full circle in some ways. You know, things happen, you don't realize what they're happening, and all of a sudden you connect the dots. And for me, it was that kind of an experience with Dale Carnegie. You know, I started my career, I was always focused on wanting to be a lawyer. You know, went through college and law school, wanted to join a big firm, which I did. And I was on the track to becoming a partner at a law firm when I took a Dale Carnegie class. And this is back in 1995. I was a young lawyer at the time. And probably, Willie, you had this experience. My dad had a huge influence on me. He was always talking about life is about personal growth. So I took this Dale Carnegie course, and it literally just changed everything for me. I ultimately challenged me in my vision. It gave me greater empathy, better skills in dealing with people. I ultimately left the practice of law and went into business. And kind of cutting a long story short, had a vision of creating a business of my own. And in early 2000, started an e-learning company. That's when e-learning wasn't really a huge thing. And my first client was Dale Carnegie. So I went back to them with an idea, which was how do you apply your principles, how you practice your principles over time, and develop programs for them all over the world. Had other clients for that company as well, built that and ultimately sold that business, became the president of another company, and then was invited to apply to become the CEO of Dale Carnegie. And it went through a very rigorous recruiting process in 2015 before I was named CEO. So for me, I came to this role because I believe so deeply, as you do, Willie, in just the importance of impacting people's lives positively. And I couldn't think of a better way to do it than with an organization that had truly changed my life. I personally am on a mission, which is how to help reach as many people as possible with the same type of amazing principles that have helped me.
Dale Carnegie. Let's talk about that. Everybody knows about Dale Carnegie. And if you don't know about Dale Carnegie, folks, I don't know where you have been, but he wrote a book called How to Win Friends and Influence People that became a global bestseller back in 1936.
Yeah.
1936. And it has sold millions and millions of copies. Then he created a course called the Dale Carnegie Course. And he wrote another book, How to Stop Worrying. I believe that's the name of it, isn't it?
It's How to Stop Worrying and Start Living. Yes.
Yes. Now, here's the question that I asked Joe the first time we met, just because of my curiosity. I said, you're in, what? How many countries? Remind me how many countries you're in, Joe?
Just about 80 countries.
80 countries. And you got how many franchisees?
But 200 operations in those 80 countries.
And how many trainers in those franchisees?
Best estimate is about 3,000.
Yeah. And so I said, man, this is a blooming business. And I said, now these franchisees pay the company an annual franchise fee. Is that correct?
So they actually, we work on a percentage. So it's a royalty-based system.
Okay, but initially you to get a franchise, there's a cost.
There's a cost to when you become a franchise. There's a franchise fee, but it only applies for new franchises.
Okay, and then you got this royalty that income comes in from these franchisees every year. So I'm saying, Joe, where can I buy stock? I remember asking you that question, and your response was,
it's a privately held company.
He said you can't. It's a privately held company, and then you followed up with what you're about to say. Who owns it?
Yeah, so Dale Carnegie's family members own it, including his daughter Donna and other family members.
That's when it hit me like a ton of bricks, folks. I want everybody to listen. This company has been around for 110 years. Am I right, Joe?
Yes, it is. 110 this year.
And it is privately owned by the family, correct?
Yes, it is.
And that means that this family has been blessed by Dale Carnegie for over 110 years. That's real generational wealth. That's real generational wealth. And that's why I was so excited when I heard about Joe Hart's new book coming out and how he's going to teach you how to think like Dale Carnegie thought, because it changed his thinking. He's now the president and CEO, as well as the book is co-written by Dale Carnegie's grandson, is it?
It is. Yeah, Michael Crom is Dale Carnegie's grandson.
So that thinking, folks, and all of y'all know I'm constantly talking about generational wealth, real deal generational wealth, that it doesn't just impact you, but it impacts generations yet unborn. And that's what this session today is going to be about. Pull out your pencils, pull out your pens, pull out your iPads, your iPhones, because we're going to talk about how to transform your thinking, transform your future, transform your finances with this book. Now, real quick, Joe, before we take this quick break, this book is called, it's a Dale Carnegie book, Joe Hart and Michael Crom, Take Command. Find your inner strength, build enduring relationships, and live the life you want. Oh, that's what I want to get to. How to live the life you want. And he tells you, it's broken in 3 sections, is it right, Joe?
Yes, it is.
Tell me about the 3 sections.
So there's 3 parts. The first part is take command of your thoughts and emotions, right? You have to take command of yourself before you do anything else.
Yeah.
All the things that slow us down, the stress, the worry, how do we build real resilience and inner strength? And that really comes a lot, or it's built on, predicated a lot on Dale Carnegie's How to Stop Worrying and Start Living. Part 2 is take command of your relationships. So you can't give what you don't have. So you start with yourself, and then you think about your relationships. How do I build great relationships with people that I work with, people in my family, people around me? And a lot of that is building on the wisdom and how to win friends and influence people. And the last part, take command of your future. This really looks at the Dale Carnegie course. What's your vision for yourself? What are your values? What's your purpose? And how do you live an intentional life so that when you get to the end of your life, you don't have regrets. You're excited. You say, I lived the life I wanted to live, as opposed to saying, gosh, I can't believe that life just passed me by.
Wow. Folks, you want to stay tuned. You want to call your friends. You want to share this with everybody you know. This is going to be a life-changing interview that will change your life, but hopefully change the lives of people who are in your family who are not yet born. This is Dr. Willie Jolley on the Willie Jolley Wealthy Way Show. And for sure, the best is still yet to come. We'll be right back.
Friendship is not about being convenient. It's about being committed and consistent. You can call on me when you need me. You can call on me. Call me. You can call on me. Pick up the phone. You can call and call me.
Are you ready to revolutionize your relationship with money? I'm Brian Ford, a financial wellness expert.
And I'm Bright Dixon, an expert in positive psychology. Together, we host Money and Mindset with Bright and Brian, a podcast from Truist Bank that's all about exploring the relationship between your money, your mindset, and your well-being.
Find us wherever you listen to podcasts or truist.com/money and mindset podcast.
Hi, this is Dr. Willie Jolley, and I have a question for you. Have you ever wondered why some people can make $1 million, lose it, make a second million, lose that, then make a third million, while other people can't even make ends meet? Well, the reason is that those people know the recipe for success. And that recipe is available to everyone if you will do what they did. They made a habit of getting positive, motivational resources of great thinkers and great learners. And I want to offer those same kind of resources to you. We've developed a free page on my website. It's wjspeaks.com/gift. wjspeaks.com/gift. On that site, we've got resources, books, audios that help you to grow, and they're free. So go to wjspeaks.com/gift, wjspeaks.com/gift, and get some of those resources, and then share that page with your friends and your family members. We want to impact and inspire millions of people. And remember, if you enjoy this message on this podcast, like it, share it, and post a review about it, and make a difference in the lives of others by letting them know about it. Have a great day. This is Dr. Willie Jolley.
A to the D to the T to the I to the T to the U to the D to the E. A to the D to the T to the I to the T to the U to the D to the E. It's about your attitude. It's about your attitude. It's about your attitude. It's all about your attitude. It's about your attitude. It's about your attitude. It's about your attitude. It's all about your attitude. It's about your attitude. It's about your attitude.
And we're back. This is Dr. Willie Jolley on the Willie Jolley Wealthy Way Show and podcast. And I want to invite everybody, wherever you are around the world, to visit the website, winwithwillie.com, winwillie.com. And look at all the suite of sites and programs that we have on that one site. We have how to impact your children, how to impact your marriage, how to impact positively with your family life, how to impact your finances, how to impact your future, how to impact your business. So go to winwithwillie.com and make sure to sign up for my newsletter. Sign up for my newsletter where you'll get a weekly message from me telling about the great guests that we have on our show and the lessons I learned. I take lessons and notes just like y'all do. I'm learning, I'm growing, because that's one of the things that Dale Carnegie talked about that will help you become successful. Never stop growing, never stop learning. And then we want to invite you to join us every Monday night for the Jolley Marriage Show. My wife and I, we have a marriage show on A Jolley Marriage on Facebook, A Jolley Marriage on Instagram, and Willie Jolley LinkedIn Live, as well as Twitter, A Jolley Marriage on Twitter, where we talk about how we've had this almost 40 years of marriage, haven't had an argument in over 35 years, and what we learned from wise mentors. Remember, there are two ways to get to any goal: mentors and mistakes. Both will get you there. One just gets you there with less headaches, heartaches, and knots upside your head. So always get good mentors. Today, we got somebody who is mentoring people around the world through the Dale Carnegie Institute, the Dale Carnegie course, as well as the new book he has called Take Command, a Dale Carnegie book where you find your inner strength, build enduring relationships, and live the life you want to live. And that's what I'm just excited about this book. Let's talk about this book a little bit, Joe. Joe, how is Take Command different from How to Win Friends and Influence People?
Yeah, well, yeah, it's funny you say that, because How to Win Friends, I mean, such a masterpiece, right? Exactly as you said, it's been a best-selling book for 85 years. And that really is the Bible, so to speak, in terms of relationships. How do you develop great relationships? How do you interact with people? How do you become a leader? All those kinds of things. So we wanted to incorporate that into Take Command. So Take Command, one part of Take Command is based on a lot of the principles from How to Win Friends. We've also taken them to a little bit different of a level, meaning that, you can't tamper with a masterpiece, but the world is different today. Right. So we've got current stories, diverse stories from people all over the world, talking about how they've applied the kinds of principles that Dale Carnegie talked about. We've got new principles in Take Command, so new ideas, new research. So it's a book really written for today's audience, premised on the enduring wisdom of Dale Carnegie.
Wow. And it does. And let me say, folks, I read when I first started my speaking business, or when I really first started changing my thinking. And I went from a nightclub singer to become a speaker to young people initially. I read How to Win Friends and Influence People. It was life-changing. And I have quoted that book in a number of my books. I think particularly in my book, An Attitude of Excellence, I talk quite a bit about how to win friends and influence people and how to grow your success as you grow your business. And I'm very grateful, by the way, that one of our dear friends, both of our dear friends, is Alan Mulally, the former CEO of Ford, and Alan Mulally was kind enough to write the foreword for my book. And I'm very grateful because I was the speaker that Ford brought in 2006 when Alan got there to help to transform the thinking of the workers. I worked with Ford in 2006, 2007, 2008. As many of you know, in 2009, Ford was the only one of the big three automakers to be able to reject a government bailout and go from losing millions monthly to making billions. The key was the principles that Alan Mulally shared that he talks about in this book. He's in this book with Joe. He's in the book, and he talks about the concepts. Okay, Joe, why is this book needed now more than ever? And I know the answer, because if ever we need this book, Take Command, we need it now. Tell us why.
The world is dealing with so many different struggles. People are, we're technologically connected, but socially disconnected. There's a lot of pain, people really are just struggling in so many ways. And so what it's easy to have happen is we could be down, we could be, just distressed, you get anxiety, frustrated, you feel like the world's passing you by. And really, this is a book, Take Command. That title is about, it's encouraging all of us to say, hey, that's your life. This is the one life you got right here on this planet, in terms of what we do right now. So you got to take command, got to take charge. Start with yourself, start with your emotions and your thoughts. You're dealing, you're insecure, you're dealing with whatever you're dealing with, imposter syndrome, body issues, frustration with people, drama, whatever. How do you learn to develop that inner strength so you can deal with any adversity that comes up and it's kind of keep moving forward in a positive way? And the same thing is true of your relationships. You've got all kinds of struggles, difficult people around us. Polarized world. The world is just so hard these days. So how do you navigate that in a way that enables you to have relationships and continue to grow? And then, of course, your future, which is, what are you doing every single day to build the life that you want? So from my standpoint, the world, this is a book really written for right now.
It's right now. I'm telling you, folks, this book is about right now, and the diversity, the inclusion, the thinking, the stories. Oh, one great story after another great story about people like you, like me, just normal people, and how they overcame incredible obstacles. You talk about inner strength, and that's one of the things I want to focus on because you talk about mindset and inner strength. Why, not only why do you need inner strength and greater mindset, but how do you develop it? Tell us those two things.
Yeah. So the first part of the book really gets into thoughts and emotions, right? So a lot of times we might be walking around, we don't even think about what we think. We're going about our day and you read an email and all of a sudden you get really upset, or you've got a meeting coming up. You're like, oh, it's gonna be a horrible meeting. I don't want to be in that meeting. It's like time out. These are thoughts. Do you even stop to take a second and pay attention to the thoughts that we're saying? And that's the first step we say toward conditioning your mind for success. You got to be able to take that first of all, identify the thought and then be able to flip it. And there are lots of examples in the books of people who've been able to do that. I'll give you one, which is Artis Stevens, who is the president and CEO of Big Brothers Little Brothers, Big Brothers Big Sisters. It talks about being in high school, and he had one mindset. The mindset was, I want to play. He was going to get a scholarship at University of Georgia to play football. Gets injured and goes through this depression almost of, my life is over. I can't do this. And all of a sudden is able to flip the way he thinks. His friends and family kind of came together and helped him. And just said, wait a second, I can still be successful. I can be successful academically. It's not just dependent on football. But he realized that his mind was really shaping his emotions. So when he flipped that kind of script, so to speak, reframed it, he was able to then really lead an incredible life that's led him to now leading this phenomenal organization. So the starting point of this is, though, it's our thoughts, and it's the things that we say to ourselves. It's conditioning ourselves and developing the routines and the habits that make it just automatic. So we've got this mindset that's just ready to take on the world.
Absolutely. On page number 17, you talk about artists, and then you follow up what you just said about your communication, your affirmations. It says here, most people are familiar with the term affirmation. They have been around for a long time, and there's a reason why they work. Stated simply, an affirmation is a word or phrase you say repeatedly to reinforce a belief that you want to have. During this conditioning of the mind, much like lifting weights, building muscles, affirmations are a way of strengthening the thoughts that you want to think and rebutting the thoughts that you want to keep away from your thinking. We believe everyone should use them. I use one with my staff every day. We have an affirmation. I am healthy. I am wealthy. I am happy. I am whole. I feel terrific. I am blessed and highly favored. This is the day the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. And I am grateful for another day. And I believe that this is going to be a great day where we make an impact and we create income that can help us and help others. And we are grateful. And we do that every day. We speak health into our lives. We speak health into our families. And that's what this book talks about, how powerful. I had to earmark. By the way, folks, this book, I read this book, I've got earmarked. Every page just about is earmarked. I got something good. I've got highlights. I'm writing in the margins, which I recommend everybody do, is to take time to read positive, uplifting books, get resources, because those are the things that will change your future. Well, you talk about inner strength. And the fact that we're living in some challenging time, we mentioned that, but then that creates stress. And I love the part in the book about stress and anxiety. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, just even to back up a second, you were talking about, you think about Dale Carnegie, and someone had asked him at one point, what's the most important lesson you've ever learned in your life? And you think, this is an incredible person who's living an incredible life. And he basically says the power of what we think, right? Mm-hmm. If I know what you think, I know what kind of a person you are. And he's got this quote from Marcus Aurelius, who's a Roman emperor, who says our life is what our thoughts make it, right? Our life is what our thoughts make it. So why is it that you have two people who are in the exact same situation, and one is stressed and anxious and worried and upset, and the other one is thrilled and grateful? And you just said gratitude, speak gratitude. And all of that then starts with your mindset, right?
Yes.
So sometimes though things happen, we find ourselves in a stressful situation. We find ourselves something happening, we don't like it, or it's change, or whatever it might be. And then the question is, well, how do we handle that? And one of the things that we talk about in the book is this idea of befriending your emotions. So what are your emotions telling you? So first of all, sometimes we may feel something and not really define it. I have this, I've got 6 kids, and one of the things I'll talk to my kids, and someone will say, my life stinks, or I hate my life. Like, all right, hold on a second, time out. The first thing is, what's the emotion that you're feeling right now? Okay, so whatever it is it stress? Is it work? Well, and let's frame it in the right way. Okay, you don't hate your life. You might hate something that happened in your life. So say that, but let's be clear about what it is that you feel. And what's the feeling? I am stressed. All right, so what is the emotion telling us? Because often, just like a negative thought it can be like an early warning system, okay? Which means, just like you get an oil light in your car that blinks when there's a problem, a negative thought or a negative emotion can be a good thing if we are able to channel it and follow what it's saying. So I might say to myself, gosh, I feel stressed right now. And then the question is, why do you feel stressed? Let's think this through. Well, I'm stressed because I've got to give a speech next week and I'm not prepared. Okay, well, then what do you need to do? I mean, so if we can have this kind of inner dialogue, and the book talks about a series of questions, how am I feeling? What's the feeling telling me? Is this feeling serving me? And then ultimately, how do I address this emotion and move forward? So we've got kind of a formula that walks people through this. It becomes automatic. So you start to feel stressed. It's like, how do you, in a very quick time, reframe that and then channel that into a constructive direction?
Wow. We're going to take a quick break for station identification. This is Dr. Willie Jolley and the Willie Jolley Wealthy Way Show. We'll be right back.
Hi, this is Dr. Willie Jolley, and I got an email from a gentleman in Australia who shared how he had been struggling in his business, and he bought some of my books and audios, and how it had a profound impact on his business, and he went from worst to first in his company. I shared with him how much I appreciated his note, but I told him those books, those audios, those videos were not just something that I just thought up one day and started to write. They were born out of my experiences, out of the challenges of overcoming the problems and the difficulties and how I was able to do it. And I shared with him that others have sent similar messages and that these resources work. I want to encourage you and invite you to go to my store. Go to wjspeaks.com/shop. wjspeaks.com/shop. Get some of the books. It only takes a minute to change your life. Or a setback is a setup for a comeback. Or turn setbacks into greenbacks. Or chicken soup for the soul. Or an attitude of excellence. Or the book I wrote with my wife after 34 years of being married and not having an argument in over 30 years. We wrote a book called Make Love, Make Money, Make It Last. And now it is saving marriages all over the globe. Go to the store, get some of the audios, the videos, the books, the resources to help you have greater personal and professional success. This is Dr. Willie Jolley. Make this a great day on purpose.
And we're back. This is Dr. Willie Jolley, host of the Willie Jolley Wealthy Way Show. And I'm so excited that you're back with us. And my special guest today is the president and CEO of the Dale Carnegie Institute. And I'm telling you, folks, they have a new book called Take Command. I'm going to tell you how you can get the book in a moment. Before I do that, I want to take a moment to thank again our sponsor, Truist Bank. Truist believes that better lives and communities begin with care. That's why they say when you start with care, you build a different kind of bank. That includes caring a lot about the well-being of their clients. Let me tell you what that means. Truist is really interested in improving the connection between your finances and your personal well-being. So they launched Money and Mindset. It's an online resource to help you build financial confidence and a healthier mindset about your money. I've spent some time with Money and Mindset. I was a guest on that podcast, and I'm serious. This is awesome. One good takeaway I found that when you're on top of your finances, you can enjoy benefits beyond reaching and just taking care of your daily goals. No. Think about reducing stress, which is why I wanted to talk about this with this book with Joe Hart. And then also feeling greater assurance knowing you're better prepared for a financial challenge should it come your way. There's also a Truest Money and Mindset podcast. To all the podcast listeners looking for some real talk about money, it's called Money and Mindset with Bright and Byron. So you can find it wherever you listen to podcasts. So I highly encourage you to take some time, jump online, and check out this great resource. Look for Truest Money and Mindset online and go to truist.com. Tell them Dr. Willie Jolley sent you. Well, my special guest is Joe Hart. He's the president, CEO of the Dale Carnegie Institute. He was a lawyer who realized he liked being a businessman and thought it a business, sold it, thought it another activity with another company running their organization. And then the incredible Dale Carnegie Institute said, we want you. We want you. Hey, this book is incredible, Joe Hart. It's incredible. I've got earmarks. I've got pencil marks. I got all sorts of stuff through this book. Where can people get this book? They got to go get help. Not just get one copy, get one for everybody in their organization. All the team members, all the stakeholders need this book. Get a box of them, 5 boxes, 10 boxes, and give them to everybody in your organization so that they can become more profitable. Where can they get it?
Well, thank you, Willie. Thanks for your enthusiasm about the book. It means a tremendous amount, knowing someone of your caliber and all that you've done to be as excited about the book as you are. Right, the book is out. You can go get it right now on Amazon.com, and that's the Audible version if you prefer to listen to it. I don't know about you, Willie. Sometimes I'm exercising, like to listen to the book. Kindle version, electronic, and also hardcover. So Amazon.com, also Barnes & Noble and other booksellers as well.
Folks, go get this book. I want you to get it in any form that you like, digital, physical, but you want to read this book. Let me tell you a couple of things. I've got so many pages earmarked because it's such good stuff and great stories throughout. The story about Alan Mulally is one of the ones that I had to talk. I love that guy, and they love that guy as well. Alan Mulally talks about being a stakeholder in creating effective teams. That's how he turned Ford around. And he talks about in this book, his story about where he was and how he helped to do it and how he helped people to get a mindset that transformed Ford from losing millions to making billions. There's also a point in here about John Gottman. I talk about Gottman in our marriage book and how Gottman talks about relationships and that your life is built on your relationships. I tell my son, who has taken it to heart, that who you hang around is who you're going to become. So you want to hang around people going places, doing things, but then also be a relationship builder. Help people before you need them to help you. Help them. There's something powerful when you are helping others get what they want, which is something Dale Carnegie talked about. So it's a powerful book. I want you to go. There's a website too, I believe you can go and find out more. What is that, Joe?
You can go to dalecarnegie.com. You can go to takecommand.com, www.takecommand.com, and www.dalecarnegie.com.
Now, one of the things you talk about is negative thoughts that will try and infiltrate your thinking and your mind. How do we overcome those self-doubts and the imposter syndrome, which many people struggle with?
Yeah, I mean, so part of it is the habits we develop, right? I mean, you know, when you talk about the imposter syndrome, the number one thing we should avoid is comparing ourselves with other people. It's always just a complete trap. You know, you can be perfectly happy with where you are and who you are, and you look at somebody else, and all of a sudden you feel like you're less. And it goes to your self-worth. And it's just a horrible thing to do. So the first thing is, you know, you got to be able to talk to yourself. One of the tips that we give in here, one of the insights that we have, we've got stories around this too. You got to talk to yourself like you talk to somebody that you love. I mean, you know, let me give you an example, Willie. It's kind of like, let's say I make a mistake. It would not be unusual for a person to say, "You're so stupid. How could you do that? What are you, an idiot?" Whatever you'd say to yourself. But would you say that to someone that you cared about? Would you say that to, you know, a loved one or to a boss or somebody like that? You might say, "Hey, look, Willie, you know, I know you made a mistake, and we all make mistakes. So what can we do to improve upon that?" If we talk to ourselves the same way that we talk to somebody else, we're not going to have a lot of those kind of negative thought loops, because those thoughts lead to the emotions, and all of a sudden, next thing you know, you find yourself in a bad place. So start by interrupting that pattern and really making sure that you're treating yourself. You know, Dale Carnegie's principle number one is don't criticize, condemn, and complain, and that's true for other people.
Say that again, because that's a powerful point. Say that again, because make sure people got there. What is his foundational point.
Dale Carnegie's principle number one is don't criticize, condemn, and complain. And that applies, we think about people we don't want to be around. We don't want to be around people who are complaining all the time, putting you down, those types of things. But that also applies to us. We got to be careful about the things that we say to ourselves and how just the things we say to ourselves. So
right. And you talk about in this book intentionality, being intentional about what kind of life you want. Many people they're settling because they're not intentional about what it is they want. Talk about that a little bit. What is intentionality and why is it important?
Yeah, so intentionality comes into play in a couple different ways, Willie. So one is, how often do we find ourselves, you do something, you get distraction, you're on Facebook or Instagram, you're scrolling through, and all of a sudden an hour or two's gone by. You're like, is that what I really want? Is that how I want to spend my time? So intentionality starts with, what are the things that are important to me? What are the things that I value? What's my purpose? You talk about purpose a lot in what you do.
Right.
And we in the book go to a distinction between kind of small purpose with our purpose at the small P, which is, kind of where am I at the stage in my life? What am I trying to accomplish? And big P, which is, hey, what's your life purpose? And what's your vision for yourself? So part 3 of this book goes into those kinds of things and basically challenges the reader. It's like, are you living an intentional life? Are you doing the things that you or are you putting those off? Are you afraid? Are you procrastinating? And are you doing that at the expense of the things that are really meaningful to you? So we offer a lot of different ways. Basically, it's a roadmap or framework. Someone buys this book, they read this book, they go through it. They're going to have a formula to be able to know this is how you take command of your future.
And it makes a world of difference when you make a commitment to grow yourself intentionally, whether it's professionally, personally, growing yourself intentionally. And folks, that's a decision. That's what I want everybody to get. This book helps you not only to think the thought, but gives you the steps to take the actions to do the work, because it's going to take work. How many of you listening want greater success in the future than you had in the past? How many want to make more money in the future than you had in the past? Well, if you do, it's a decision to work on yourself, work on your thoughts, and take those thoughts from an idea to a reality. And you can do it. And that's one of the things I love about how this book talks about change, embracing change, taking advantage of the change around you. You say that embracing change. What are some of the lessons you learned about people and how they adapt and change and how they embrace it?
Yeah, the biggest challenge people have with change is just fighting it. But we might spend a lot of emotional energy just fighting it, complaining it, being down about it, trying to, but it's like time out. Again, a principle of Dale Carnegie, which we kind of built into this book, is cooperate with the inevitable. Which is, it doesn't mean that you're not gonna, if there's action you need to take on something, you should do it. But avoid all that negative energy that just says, I'm gonna fight this. We went through COVID, right? All of us went through COVID. We might not have liked lockdowns, but there wasn't much we're going to do about it. So if we sit there and just stew and be, all down, right, that's going to lead to one thing. But on the other hand, you say, well, in what ways can I make the best of the situation? What are the positives for me in this situation? If there are, how do you frame your mind through change so that you don't miss what could be a huge opportunity, and just because you're just too focused on the wrong thing?
One of my favorite quotes I often share with folks: never waste a crisis. Never waste a crisis. This is an opportunity. And what this is talking about is, just like he said, we were all in a lockdown. Was nothing we could do about it. Now, you had to make a decision. Are you going to whine and cry and complain about it? Or are you going to make the most of it? I decided to write a book. I got a new book coming out called, the book is entitled, Rich is Good, Wealthy is Better. And it came out of my time during COVID. I'm stuck. I did a music video that I'd never done one in my home by myself. Nobody could come in or out of the house but me and my wife. And I took my cameras and I created a music video. If you go to winwithwillie.com, you'll see it called We'll Get Through This. All because I decided, hey, make the best of this situation. Turn your setbacks into great comebacks. Well, you talk about through this book that it is important and it needed now. I'm going to ask you, what made you say, okay, I got to get this book out? And what are the lessons you hope readers will take away from this book as they read it?
Yeah, one of the most important lessons is just to even realize that people have way more competence and ability than they have confidence in themselves. If we can help people unlock the confidence they have, or if they've already got confidence, how to have more confidence, how to be bold, how to take risks, and just enjoy all that life has to offer. Enjoy the opportunity, seek that opportunity, and don't let those things hold you back. Build, start with yourself. I mean, if you start with yourself and you condition your mind for success and you deal with change, you build resilience, you can handle anything. And if you build your relationships, if you know how to focus on relationships, you make people a priority, then you're going to have great relationships. And so much of our happiness or our unhappiness in life comes down to what's the quality of our relationships. If you do those things, then the question is, what's your desire for yourself? What's your vision for yourself? Where do you see yourself? What do you need to accomplish? What's meaningful to you? You do those things. So the message for me is, if you take command, you can do incredible things. You can truly live the life that you want.
And that's why this book is called Take Command, to get the kind of life you want. And I want everybody to live the best life, to do the things that they think about, they dream about, they've been wondering about. I want everybody to have greater success and less stress, less anxiety. I want everybody to have better relationship with their family, with their friends, with their children. I know people who don't talk to each other in families. They don't like each other because they haven't learned how to win friends, influence people, how to take command. We're going to tell you more about that as we come in the next segment. Let me tell you, folks, you don't want to miss this last segment because there's some PowerPoints that we're going to share with you. This is Dr. Willie Jolley on the Willie Jolley Wealthy Way Show, and we'll be right back. And for sure, the best is yet to come.
Afraid of flying, I always kept my dreams on the ground. Life had enough ups and downs, but Lord, since I met you, all that's changed in the blink of an eye.
Hi, this is Dr. Willie Jolley, and people often ask, how did I go from a broke, busted nightclub singer to become a best-selling author and to be voted one of the outstanding 5 speakers in the world by the 175,000 members of Toastmasters International? The answer is that I decided to invest and change my thinking, invest in my mindset, and decided to change my inputs, because inputs determine outputs. I heard about a seminar years ago when I was just getting started. I was making about $100 a speech. And I heard this seminar that was creating millionaires, and it cost $10,000, but the guy was getting results. I didn't have that kind of money, but I decided to borrow it, because I learned that there's a price for success, the price of college, the price of going to school, the price of education. And there's a price for success, and then there's a cost for not paying the price, the cost of staying the same. And that cost is greater than the price. It's too expensive. And so I went, and it changed my life. And I came back and quickly made $100,000. I heard a similar story from Dr. Dave Martin, how he went to a success rally, heard a speaker who inspired him. He and his friend said, wow, that changed my life. The speaker had a package of materials to help build wealth. The package cost $1,500. And that was all the money Dr. Dave had to his name. Dr. Dave's friend asked, do you think this stuff is worth it? Dr. Dave thought for a moment. He said, I don't know. I don't know if it's worth it. But I do know that I'm worth it. I'm worth it. He invested that money in that package and used the materials to grow his thinking. He grew his mindset. He shared how that $1,500 investment has gone on to generate millions in revenues. He's a multimillionaire. And he has homes now in Arizona and Florida. I want to say to you, it's time to invest in you. I want to give you some materials that will help you, grow your mindset, grow your future, grow your finances. Go to wjspeaks.com/billionaire. wjspeaks.com/billionaire to get some materials that will inspire your success and will help you find that there's a price for success, but there's a cost for not paying the price. And the cost is always greater than the price. Go to wjspeaks.com/billionaire and get the bag, the box, or any of the materials there, and keep growing your wealth. And remember, as a man thinketh, so as he is, and your best is yet to come.
a job I really hated.
And we're back. This is Dr. Willie Jolley on the Willie Jolley Wealthy Way show and podcast. And I am excited. I'm excited. I am as peacock proud, as they say, and just privileged to have my guest on. He is the CEO and president of the Dale Carnegie Institute, and he has been traveling all over the world. When you read the book, you see the level of impact he's had globally on helping people to become better and how to help them grow. And he has done this as a CEO. He's had his own company, and he's built Dale Carnegie Institute to another level because everybody knew about it. But now he's preparing it not just for the last 100 years, but for the next 100 years. And I read somewhere that the great ones always think 100 years out. They plant trees that take 80 years to grow when they're 85 years old. Because it's not about just them right now. It's about the future and about the possibilities for the future. Well, in this book, it's called Take Command. Find your inner strength, build enduring relationships, and live the life you want. And that's what I was so profoundly impacted by. The life you want, that you have said, this is what I want. And that's developing your vision. Now, this is on page number 204. And it gives a few insights in developing your vision. And many of you know in my book, A Setback Set Up for a Comeback, I say the secrets to success are vision, the decisions you make, followed by the actions that you take, and then followed by the desire that you have to make that vision a reality. Let's talk about that, why vision is so important in developing the life you want and how to get there, Joe.
Yeah, I believe that the mind works in a way that when you've got a clear vision, we kind of automatically go toward that vision. But if you don't have that vision, then things just kind of happen. We occupy ourselves with different to-do lists or whatever it is that we have at a particular time. But that vision truly is a North Star, and guide us and pull us. And ultimately, if we think about it and look at it and work at it, we hit it.
Yeah, that's right. Let me tell you what he says in this. It's so profound. What do you want? Come on, somebody. If y'all listen to me often, I always ask, what do you want? You ask most people what they want. They'll tell you what they don't want. I don't want to work here no more. I don't want to do this. They'll tell you what they don't want, but they can't articulate and clarify what they want. Number two, he said, what are your goals and skills and interests? And how can they help you achieve what you want? And then he says, what actions will you have to take to achieve what you want? And what does it look like on a daily basis? What things are you going to do every day? And then what does the world need? This is so powerful. What does the world need? And how are you uniquely suited to help? And the world needs you, folks, right now, you, Mr. Man, Miss Lady, we need you being the best you can be. And that's why I'm encouraging you to get this book. It's called Take Command. Stop living the life that life has thrown you and start living the life that you want to achieve. And I'm encouraging you to do that. In fact, Joe, I ask every guest a question, and I'm going to ask you the same question, and you might tell from your experience, from the book, whatever. If you came to DC and I said, hey, Joe, we talked on the phone and you said, hey, Dr. Jolley, Willie, I'm coming to DC. I say, great, let's have lunch. I'm going to take you to my favorite spot and we go to have lunch. Then I'm going to take you to Howard University, GW, or Georgetown, to a class of young entrepreneur wannabes. Tell us a couple you got us that we would tell those students. You got us, a couple you got us that they need to know.
Yeah, you got to set yourself up for success, and you do that by how you frame your thinking. Give yourself a break. A lot of times people define failure as, I try to do something and it didn't work, therefore it failed and I'm a failure. It's like they set themselves up for failure. But if you've got the right mindset, and this is something people need to work on all the time and every day. So number one, you got to have the right mindset. You got to say to yourself, I can do this. And whether I'm successful or not, whether I achieve that goal or not, I'm still successful because I'm going to learn something and keep getting better and better. Because, people like you, people like me, we know a lot of times you're going to swing and going to miss, but you're going to learn something about how you swing. And then you can hit it next time or the next time or the next time. So the first thing you got to do, you got to frame things the right way. You got to have confidence in yourself. You got to take chances and risks. You know, and the other thing is you got to have written goals. I don't
Come
I
on
don't care
now.
what people say. It's like you gotta.
Yes. You got to say more about that because that's profound. You got to have written goals.
Yeah, you got to have written goals. This is something my dad taught me when I was in my teens. I've got written goals that go back to like 12 and 13 years old because he said, now those goals at those times might have been like find a girlfriend or something like that. But you had a goal, you know. But when you have something written down and you look at it and you think about it, you know, we'll align, our minds will work in a way that will support us to achieve that goal. And ultimately, that's the same reason why vision is important, because the goals lead into the vision. You know, so what's your purpose? What's the legacy you want to leave? What's the impact you want to have? So, you know, if you've written those things, you think about those things, you're working on those actively, you're going to be able to accomplish things that you never thought were possible.
Wow. Okay, folks, I hope you got that. You've got to have written goals. Now, if you are struggling, and most people unfortunately struggle with writing their goals because of one or two reasons. One, they don't know how, or two, they don't have somebody to coach them through because it is work. I mean, it's cognitive work, and it takes a process. So what I'm encouraging you to go to winwithwillie.com. winwithwillie.com. We have two options. If you go to winwithwillie.com/goaling, GOALING, we have a process to help you. Just like if you're riding a bike, you're riding. If you're walking, you're walking. If you're driving, you're driving. It's the action. So they'll go to winwithwillie.com/goaling. The other one, you go to Win with Willie, look for the goal setting and goal achieving workshop. And it's a online program to help you with goals, because Joe is so right. You gotta have written goals if you want to be successful. And then you gotta have this book. It's called Take Command. Take Command. You got to have it. You got to have it for your family, your friends, your coworkers, your employees. Again, Joe, where can they get the book?
Best place, easiest place is Amazon.com. You get the Kindle, Audible, or hard copy of the book. They'll ship it to you overnight. So that's always the best place to go. But also, I mean, Barnes and Nobles and many other booksellers will have it as well.
I'm curious. You know, I'm a curious guy. What made you and Michael write this book? What made y'all sit down and say, you know what, let's write a book? What made y'all come together?
You know, there was a story I talked about in chapter 1, which was what happened to me during COVID. I was in a really, frankly, a dark place. And I'm a guy who is a very optimistic, very positive guy, but I was really concerned in March 2020 about I was watching all parts of our business stop, essentially, as we're a face-to-face training company, and all around the world going into lockdowns means you're not going to do any training. So I went through this process myself of rediscovering some of the things that we teach in our Dale Carnegie class, that we teach in our How to Stop Worrying and Start Living and How to Win Friends. And I said to Michael, who also has a huge passion for this himself. I mean, so the Dale Carnegie has had an amazing impact on our lives. And we said, you know what, we need to write a book that brings together all of these different Dale Carnegie ideas for a younger generation, especially that hasn't heard about some of these things. And, you know, these books that we're talking about are masterpieces. And I'd encourage everyone who's listening to this podcast to read How to Win Friends and read How to Stop Worrying. Some of the feedback we get sometimes is, you know, these are books that were written a long time ago. Can you put something together that's going to reach a younger audience? So we have, as you said, interviewed hundreds of young people under 30, diverse people from all over the world, countries all over the world, backgrounds and so forth. So there's a lot to learn from people. All of this is framed in language that speaks to people, today's audience.
Wow. I think it's a great idea. And it's so profound because the problems, as I think it was Edison said, the thinking that got us here will not get us to the next level. And so we have to start thinking at the next level. And this book does that. I'm just so excited about what you have written, what you have put together. I think it's going to change people's lives in a magnificent, magnanimous way. And it's going to change the country and the world. If we needed a positive take command of your mindset, being kind to people, being helpful to people, we need it now. And I want to applaud you for writing this book. And again, I want to encourage everybody to go buy the book. Again, where can they get it? What's the website?
Well, Amazon.com is one. Probably the best place to get it is Amazon.com. If they want to learn more about the book, www.takecommand.com, also DaleCarnegie.com.
Man, this has been incredible. I want to thank my friend Joe Hart for being part of this show. And we've worked hard to get our schedules aligned. And I'm so grateful that we were able to do that. So again, shout out to Sharon Fanto for making the connection with us initially. Our friend Alan Mullally. I got to love that guy because he has changed my life and Joe's. You'll read about him in the book. Yeah, I tell you, life-changing guy. And then I want to, amazing leader, amazing. And I want to thank all of you again. I want to thank Truist. We want you to check out the Truist podcast, Money and Mindset with Bright and Brian. It's real talk about ways to have financial confidence, boost your mindset. Tune in wherever you listen to podcasts. Remember, when you start with care, you build a different kind of bank. And I want to thank all of our stakeholders, all our partners around the world who shared this with their family and friends. So you got to listen to the Willie Jolley Wealthy Ways podcast, or you got to listen to the show and they tell them where to listen. I want to thank all of you who've been driving people to our website. I want to thank all of you who've been talking about our new TED Talk that my wife and I did and how that's blowing up around the world on how to never, ever argue again in marriage and how you can have a marriage where y'all are winning in marriage against the odds. So go to TED, look up for Willie and D Jolley TED Talk. Also go to winwithwillie.com and get access to all of the websites and join us Monday nights, 9:00 on A Jolley Marriage on Facebook, A Jolley Marriage on Instagram, A Jolley Marriage on Twitter, and Willie Jolley LinkedIn Live for the Jolley Marriage Show. Look, folks, we want you to win. We want you to succeed, and we want you to be healthy, wealthy, and wise. So stay connected to us, and thank you for your time. And remember, for sure, your best. That's right, your best is still yet to come. God bless you. Have a great week on purpose. This is Dr. Willie Jolley.
Well, I hope you enjoyed this podcast episode, and I hope you got something of great value. And I hope that you were inspired, you were motivated, you were empowered, and you were encouraged to live your best life. I hope this information and this inspiration will help you to do more, be more, and to achieve more. That's the goal why I started this program, and I hope it helped you in a mighty way. Now, I ask you to make sure and that you take full advantage of all the resources that came through this program. I hope you go to wjspeaks.com/gift and get some of the free resources that we have there for you. I hope you go to wjspeaks.com/shop to get some of the books that we have created, that we've labored over to make sure that they will deliver a powerful message to you. I hope you go to williejolly.com/billionaire, williejolly.com/billionaire, or wjspeaks.com/billionaire to get the box that it will inspire your whole family, or get the bag of books. Make this a great day, a great week, a great month. And remember, it is true that you are blessed and all things are possible for them that believe. So make the most of the belief that you have now in your future. This is Dr. Willie Jolley. Have a great day.
This podcast is a part of the C-Suite Radio Network. For more top business podcasts, visit c-suiteradio.com.